What's up, guys? It's Ian here, back today with another video, and I haven't gotten a microphone yet. I'm gonna go shopping this weekend, and nobody commented about what they wanted me to make the next video about, so I'm gonna just ramble on this video about some stuff that I've been thinking about. The most interesting thing I've been thinking or reading about recently is Polyvagal theory by Dr. Stephen Porges, I think that's his name. Not only that, but all the related aspects of it. He posited, as well as some other native communities and ancient civilizations may have estimated or hypothesized that possibly the vagus nerve is an antenna to the world, an emotional antenna to the world, such that it can sense the energy of the world around you. And why is this important? Because the vagus nerve, it innervates many key organ systems, such as the digestive tract, I believe the lungs, the eyes, and others. I don't have notes in front of me. In the future, I might make a higher quality video with notes and better preparation, but I just wanted to discuss this. Maybe somebody will drop comments and request a specific topic or a specific aspect of this topic. But the reason why I found this so interesting is that when we think of all the stressors around us of modern life, city life is really a heavily threat-based environment, right? You cross the street, a car almost kills you. You're out walking around, you never know who might attack you. You're in a constant state of danger. Not that you aren't in the countryside either. You know, you could be attacked by mountain lions or coyotes or wolves in the countryside, right? So every environment has its own set of threats, but arguably the city has more numerous threats than the countryside. It could be a more threatening and more stressful environment on average. Why does this matter? Well, there's a hypothesis that stress, whether it's stressors from your immediate environment, stressors from work, family, friends, enemies, gym rivals, etc., all of these stressors, they may weaken your defense shield. Some people, and this is kind of, you could dismiss this as woo-woo nonsense, but may weaken your electromagnetic defense shield, your energy aura, right? I was just talking to one of my bros about this the other day. But yeah, all of these stressors can weaken your electromagnetic defense field and aura. There's probably an actual physiologic mechanism that it's not just aura, but what I'm getting at here is that a weakened defense field or a weakened aura may make this antenna system more susceptible to negative stimuli, right? So you could have a whole bunch of different people, several cohorts of individuals, and based on an individual's resistance, you could say their defensive aura, the strength of their defensive aura, they might be able to just deflect negative stimuli entirely. Most people in the middle absorb it a little bit, and then some people on the other far end of the spectrum, the people who are the opposite of the deflectors, they take the full brunt of it. The most empathetic individuals, they're probably suffering the most severe consequences of our, I guess you could say, stress inoculation system. If you grow up in a city, you grow up with, you're under threat of attack, might get hit by a car. Yeah, these are different threats than those that we evolved under in the savannah, you could say. But one could even posit that the incidence of vehicles is probably higher than the incidence of lions or hyenas, right? Yeah, sure, there were lions and hyenas and animals everywhere that could easily kill humans, but cars can easily kill humans, and there's probably more of those than there were predatory animals in the savannah. So I guess it's a bit different because not every car that you see is actually trying to hit you, although there's a lot of bad drivers out here. I see them. But maybe every predatory animal is going to try to get you if it thinks it has a good chance of success and it's not going to get injured. But regardless of the actual balance of things. Maybe in our past, our threats were more of an actual imminent threat to survival, but our subconscious threat detection mechanisms are probably being turned on and activated at a higher frequency now. So depending on your individual defense shield strength and your susceptibility to negative stimuli, this is going to play a huge role in how you fare in this modern environment. Maybe some of the viewers live more in the countryside and they're not actually dealing with city life, so I won't go on too much about that, but I've just found it really interesting because there's a lot of there's really high rates of, let's say, digestive ailments in our society. People with digestive ailments, vision issues, other issues with different organ systems that are probably innervated by the vagus nerve, a lot of asthma, all of these things. And most of these diseases are diagnosed as idiopathic, meaning that the doctor who diagnosed you, they generally don't know what caused any of these disorders, whether it's digestion related, asthma, eye problems. Many problems that exist in modern medical science are idiopathic. We don't know why they occurred, but maybe all of this electromagnetic interruption of our defense field, and maybe some people just aren't born with a robust enough defense field, / the childhood psychology and childhood trauma that they go through in their upbringing. Maybe all of this contributes together to weakened defense fields, and then your vagus nerve is more susceptible to negative environmental stimuli, which affects the organ systems and causes all of these idiopathic health conditions that we're just kind of guessing why they exist. And then, doctors try to treat the symptoms, right? We get medications or eyeglasses or asthma inhalers, medications. So we do an effective job of treating the symptoms, but in reality, maybe there is a more multifactorial answer as to why so many of us are having issues that seem to circle back to this one nerve system. So that's some interesting food for thought. Maybe some of you guys can comment down below with what you'd like to see me talk about in the next video. Maybe a more in-depth deep dive on one particular aspect of something I discussed today. One more thing I wanted to touch on before I close down this video is the concept of manifesting things. You often hear really rich people or successful fighters talk about how they I manifested this. Israel Adesanya, Conor McGregor, all these famous fighters, they manifested this, right? But you don't hear the concept of manifesting negative things. And if you are somebody with a weakened defense field, and let's say you already suffer from an imbalance of negative emotion and you trend towards negative emotion, anxiety, stress, depression, whatever it is, you may actually be manifesting more negative occurrences than you really need to be experiencing. A perfect example is, let's say I'm about to do a difficult set in the gym, right? I'm going to go for a risky single, or, risky multi-rep set, whatever. I'm going for a PR, I'm going in. There's several divergent paths of how you could prepare yourself psychologically. Typically, I'll do something like I'll pray a little bit. I'll pray for, safety and strength. So I'll be strong enough to complete the task, and I'll hopefully be safe and not suffer a, spontaneous catastrophic injury. But another person who's more fear or avoidant based, they might think, oh my God, I hope I don't get hurt. I hope I'm safe. So that's coming from more of a negative mindset. And I think a lot of people go into things with this fear avoidance mindset versus just praying for the positive outcome or hoping for the positive outcome. Let's say you're not religious or spiritual at all. Maybe you don't pray, but just hoping or visualizing or conceptualizing the positive outcome, it's more likely to cause a chain reaction of other positive thoughts and positive energy versus if you are dwelling on the negative outcomes. Because, right, whenever you do something, there's possibility for a whole constellation of negative outcomes. And that's just the truth of the matter. But whether you dwell on them or not, that's a conscious decision, right? So that ties a bit to manifestation. I'm not really sure how manifestation actually works. I've not successfully, maybe I have, who knows? I'm not aware that I've successfully manifested so much in this lifetime so far, but maybe I have and I'm not aware of it, right? So I'm not going to write it off too easily, but I at least wanted to touch on the concept that there's a way of framing basically the same outcome, the successful completion of a set in the gym. You could frame it from the perspective of safety and strength, or avoiding injury and not failing, but the latter it's a negative way of framing it. So anyways, hopefully this video helped a little longer than I wanted it to be. It's 11 minutes. Please comment down below what you'd like to see me talk about in the next video. And if I get some specific requests, I'll make notes and I'll make a better video for you guys. I'm gonna go shopping for a better quality microphone. You might see me with one of those microphones in the near future. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good day.